Hello, my ghosts and ghouls. It's Tetsu. I am back. I am today going to be giving you guys a walkthrough of where I'm at with the game currently. This is going to be a different video than last time. I know last time was just an intro video, but I'm just going to be kind of vamping here, unscripted, just hitting some specific bullet points that I want to talk about with the game. So thank you again for stopping by, and let's check it out. So here we are. This is the game. This is what I'm calling Night in the Backrooms. Of course, Backrooms, the most popular thing on the internet right now. I'm using the theme because it's easy. It makes sense right now. The assets are easy to find, and I like the Backrooms, so that's cool. So let's start with just showing you guys what the game is. I'm going to talk through it a little bit. There's not too much to it. I'm just going to point some things out as we go. So here we are. Night in the Backrooms. Here's our main menu. We have play, we have quit, and we have info, which shows you basic information. WASD to move, shift to sprint, collect keys to unlock the door, don't get caught. Only 2 of these things are implemented right now. Don't judge me. So let's go ahead and play. So we see we have our knight, and he's walking through the back rooms. There's some keys floating around. We have a key indicator here and a health bar. We have our enemy here who's walking towards us. He's just pathing. We have some camera angles set up, being that fixed camera kind of Resident Evil style. Sometimes they don't trigger correctly. There we go. You collect keys and you see the counter goes up. Making some of these other camera angles. And I don't know if you saw, but when I collected one of those keys, this room opened up back here. That's another kind of idea that I'm working with. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, let me show you the inventory. I think it's pretty cool, pretty goofy. There we go. He's a knight. He doesn't have a briefcase or anything like that. So he holds the keys in his hands. Again, another non-functional element of it because you don't see the keys in his hand, but that's something I'm going to work on. Let's see. The AI, he's only pushing you around. He doesn't actually attack you or anything yet. He just paths towards you. But the idea, I'm hitting spacebar here to make the health go down. When you die, the character gets destroyed, or the object gets destroyed, and you get given your screen here. So yeah, that's the game in a nutshell. Next, I'm going to talk about the current game state and or not the game state, but the setup that I have here, and just kind of go through some of the elements that I have in place. All right, so taking a look at the game itself, we have, our scene here. It's a fairly small map right now. I'm going to show you guys some future things I have planned in just a moment here. We have our player character, just a model from the Unity store. Our Skeleton over here that uses the nav mesh agent to be able to path around and whatnot. We have the select the key. There we go. We have the keys. Again, another Unity asset. And that's, walls and whatnot. Floors, ceilings, lights. The general view. So let's talk about probably the thing that everybody hates the most, the cameras. I'm using that fixed camera view. I really wanted to put the old school Resident Evil style mood into the game here. Using those tank controls and the fixed cameras, I feel like that kind of invokes that feeling. But at the same time, I do feel like since it's antiquated and, Resident Evil and other horror games have grown past using fixed cameras, I'm also experimenting with the idea of utilizing multiple camera styles within the game. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So the cameras themselves are using a set of triggers that turn on and off the different camera angles as you pass through the triggers. They aren't foolproof. Sometimes when you walk through a trigger, it just decides not to work. Still troubleshooting that and figuring it out. But yeah, that's the cameras. Talking a little about the tank controls, I have a script that uses tank controls. An interesting thing that's happening is when you collide with the I'm gonna turn that down. When you collide with the enemy, with the skeleton, he starts to like slide forever. And I don't really understand that yet. I think it might be an issue with the collision and how the script reads that. But I have to look into that further. Another thing that you might have saw was when you collected one of the keys, that back door opened. So kind of going outside of the map here. The idea next is to have that secret door open and be able to explore this area here. It's going to be a maze of sorts. That's what I want to implement. And once you hit this hallway here, I want the camera angle to change to a third person kind of over the shoulder. So you'll have to navigate this maze in a third person view, which will be my next step. I want to build a maze here and have you navigate it. And it might also switch controller types as well from that tank controls to a more traditional third person, since you'll be over the shoulder, and I feel like that would just work better. So yeah, the overall gameplay loop that I'm looking at here is all the keys you saw were in this first room here, but we move them from here with the tank controls and fixed cameras to here, this maze. We would put one key here. So at the end of the maze, there would be another key to collect, and another door would open somewhere else. And the third phase of this that I want to experiment with is going from third person to a first person camera. So we'd be dealing with 3 different types of viewpoints here: the fixed camera, third person camera, and then first person camera. This is, I just want to experiment with how to set these things up and make them work eloquently. So yeah, that's the idea of where we're at with the game. Next, I want to talk about some obvious issues here that I've already touched on. My file structure is out of control. It's kind of ugly. I was trying to organize it via using like an empty game object and naming it, but I just have all these like cubes that I have named, so I don't feel like it's very good. I'm gonna do some research on how a better way to set that up is. And then that other issue with colliding with our enemy and it just, launching you in a direction. Well, not launching you, just making you slide in a direction. Those are the 2 major issues that I want to resolve by the next video. And the next thing to talk about is where I want to go next. So like I said before, I want to make that maze that switches the camera view on you. So you have a different set of controls and viewpoint. And then I want to clean up the hierarchy, make it look a bit better. I also want to implement some sort of version control. I want to see what GitHub and just what GitHub has to offer with getting this version controlled in a repository. Also, I want to create that win and lose state, and then create a bigger map. I want to expand the map, and I'll put a picture of this here, what the map is going to look like. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's the current state of the game. Um, I am going to try to implement those things that I talked about by the next video. Here's my nice little desk here with another key on it. Um, so yeah, I want to try to implement those things. Hopefully, get some bug fixes in place. Get another version of the game up, and maybe I'll have something. If anybody's interested, they could pull down and take a look. But yeah, that's about it. Cut to the other camera view again. Go. That was it. That was the game. That's what I've been working on. That's Night in the Backrooms. Thank you guys so much for watching me fumble through that and try to talk my way through explaining my game. I appreciate you guys watching that. I'm going to try to implement those things I talked about, some bug fixes, expanding the game, trying those new things, and hopefully I'll have something cool to show you guys soon. Thank you so much. Peace. Hey, it's words. More coffee. What's up, my chicken nuggets?